In the heart of a dense forest, where the trees seemed to whisper secrets to each other, there lay a small forgotten village. It was a place where the old legends still held sway, where the shadows seemed a bit darker, and where the wind carried echoes of something ancient and eerie. Every year, as Easter approached, the villagers would gather in hushed tones to speak of the legend of the Easter forest. They spoke of a time long ago when the forest was not just a place of trees and wildlife, but a realm of magic and mystery. It was said that on the night of Easter Sunday, when the moon was full and the stars shone bright, the forest came alive with strange and otherworldly creatures. Among these creatures was the Easter bunny, but not the friendly, colorful one that children knew from stories. No, this was a creature of shadow and darkness, with eyes that gleamed like embers in the night. It was said that if you ventured into the depths of the Easter forest on that fateful night, you might catch a glimpse of the bunny, hopping silently between the trees, its presence filling you with a sense of dread. Despite the warnings, there were always those who dared to test the boundaries of fear. One such person was Sarah, a young girl with a curiosity as boundless as the forest itself. Sarah had heard the stories of the Easter forest since she was a child, but she had always dismissed them as mere superstition. This Easter, however, she decided to see for herself what lay beyond the veil of myth. As the moon rose high in the sky on Easter Sunday, Sarah slipped out of her home and made her way into the forest. The trees seemed to loom over her, their branches reaching out like skeletal fingers, and the shadows danced around her like phantoms. Yet, despite the eerie atmosphere, Sarah pressed on, her heart pounding with a mixture of excitement and fear. The deeper she ventured into the forest, the more the whispers seemed to surround her. It was as if the very air itself was alive with a strange energy, and Sarah felt a chill run down her spine. But still she pressed on, driven by a desire to uncover the truth behind the legends. Eventually, Sarah came to a clearing, bathed in the silvery light of the full moon. In the center of the clearing stood a single tree, its branches twisted and gnarled, casting strange shadows on the ground below. And there, beneath the tree, sat the Easter bunny. It was like nothing Sarah had ever seen before. Its fur was as black as midnight, and its eyes burned with a fiery intensity. As Sarah watched, frozen in terror, the bunny turned its gaze towards her, and she felt as if it could see straight into her soul. For what felt like an eternity, Sarah and the bunny stood locked in a silent, staring contest. Then, without warning, the bunny spoke, its voice like the rustle of leaves in the wind. "Why have you come, child of man?" it asked, its words sending shivers down Sarah's spine. I wanted to see if the stories were true," Sarah stammered, her voice barely above a whisper. The bunny's eyes seemed to gleam with amusement. "And what do you think now that you have seen?" I don't know," Sarah admitted, her fear mingling with a strange sense of wonder. "But I think I understand now why the forest whispers." The bunny nodded slowly, as if satisfied with her answer. Then, with a flick of its ears, it vanished into the shadows, leaving Sarah alone in the clearing. As she made her way back home, Sarah couldn't shake the feeling that she had glimpsed something beyond the realm of mortal understanding. And though she knew that she would never truly understand the mysteries of the Easter forest, she also knew that she would carry its secrets with her forever. In the quiet town of Easter Hollow, nestled between rolling hills and dense forests, there was a tale whispered among the locals. It was a story of an old mansion that stood on the outskirts of town, its darkened windows and overgrown gardens casting a shadow over the surrounding countryside. Legend had it that the mansion was cursed, haunted by the spirits of its former inhabitants who had met tragic ends on Easter Sunday many years ago. As the story went, the mansion had once belonged to the wealthy and reclusive Easterly family. They were known for their extravagant Easter celebrations, which drew guests from far and wide to partake in lavish feasts and grand festivities. But one fateful Easter Sunday, tragedy struck. On that day, as the guests gathered in the opulent halls of the mansion, a fire broke out, consuming the building in flames. The Easterly family, along with their guests, perished in the inferno, their anguished screams echoing through the night. Since that day, the mansion had stood abandoned, its halls silent and its gardens overgrown. A stark reminder of the horrors that had occurred within its walls. Despite the warnings of the townsfolk, there were always those who were drawn to the mansion, seeking to uncover its secrets. One such person was Thomas, a young journalist with a fascination for the supernatural. Determined to prove the existence of the paranormal, Thomas set out to investigate the haunted mansion on Easter Sunday, armed with nothing but his courage and a flashlight. As he approached the mansion, Thomas couldn't shake the feeling of unease that washed over him. The air seemed to grow colder, and the wind whispered through the trees like the voices of the dead. Ignoring the chill that ran down his spine, Thomas pushed open the rusted gates and stepped onto the overgrown path that led to the mansion's grand entrance. The mansion loomed before him, its crumbling facade bathed in the pale light of the moon. Thomas hesitated for a moment, his heart pounding in his chest, before steeling himself and pushing open the heavy wooden doors. As he stepped into the foyer, he was greeted by the musty scent of decay and the sound of his own footsteps echoing off the walls. Undeterred, Thomas pressed on, his flashlight cutting through the darkness as he explored the mansion's deserted halls. Room after room revealed glimpses of the past, elegant ballrooms draped in cobwebs, grand dining halls choked with dust, and winding staircases that led to nowhere. But as Thomas delved deeper into the mansion's depths, he began to feel as if he were being watched. Shadows danced at the corners of his vision, and strange whispers echoed through the empty halls. And then, as he reached the top of a narrow staircase, he saw it, a figure standing at the end of the hallway, bathed in an eerie blue light. It was the ghost of a young girl, her ethereal form flickering in and out of existence. As Thomas watched in horror, the ghost turned to face him, her eyes empty sockets devoid of life. And then, with a blood-curdling scream, she vanished into thin air, leaving Thomas alone in the darkness. With a newfound sense of terror, Thomas fled the mansion, his heart pounding in his chest as he raced back to the safety of Easter Hollow. And though he never returned to the haunted mansion, the memory of that fateful Easter night would haunt him for the rest of his days, a reminder of the darkness that lurked just beyond the veil of the living. In the small town of Willowbrook, nestled among fields of vibrant flowers and winding streams, there was a tradition unlike any other, the annual Easter egg hunt. Every year, families from far and wide would gather in the town square, eager to participate in the festivities and search for the brightly colored eggs hidden throughout the town. But among the joyous laughter and excited chatter, there lingered a shadow of darkness, a tale of a long-forgotten Easter egg hunt that had ended in tragedy many years ago. It was said that on that fateful Easter Sunday, a group of children had set out to find the hidden eggs, only to stumble upon something far more sinister lurking in the depths of the forest. As the story went, the children had followed a trail of colorful eggs deep into the heart of the forest, their laughter echoing through the trees. But as they ventured further from the safety of the town, they began to sense that they were not alone. Whispers danced on the edge of their hearing, and shadows darted between the trees, watching their every move. Undeterred, the children pressed on, their eyes alight with excitement as they searched for the ultimate prize. The golden egg said to hold untold riches and wonders, but as they reached the clearing where the egg was said to lie, they found themselves face to face with something far more terrifying than they could have ever imagined. There in the center of the clearing stood a figure cloaked in darkness, its eyes gleaming with malevolence. It was the Easter Witch, a creature of nightmares, said to roam the forest on Easter Sunday, searching for souls to claim as her own. And as the children watched in horror, the Easter Witch unleashed her dark magic upon them, cursing them to wander the forest for all eternity. Since that day, the children were never seen again, their fate a mystery that haunted the town of Willowbrook for generations to come. And though the townsfolk continued to celebrate the Easter egg hunt each year, there were whispers of the curse that lingered over the event, a reminder of the darkness that lurked just beyond the edges of their idyllic town. But despite the warnings, there were always those who dared to tempt fate, drawn by the promise of adventure and the thrill of the hunt. One such person was Emily, a young girl with a spirit as bold as the colors of the Easter eggs themselves. Determined to uncover the truth behind the legend, Emily set out into the forest on Easter Sunday, her heart pounding with excitement and fear. As she ventured deeper into the forest, Emily couldn't shake the feeling that she was being watched. The trees seemed to whisper secrets to each other, and the shadows danced at the edges of her vision. But still, she pressed on, driven by a determination to uncover the truth. Finally, after what felt like hours of wandering through the forest, Emily stumbled upon a clearing bathed in the soft light of the setting sun. And there, in the center of the clearing, she saw it, the golden egg, shimmering like a beacon of hope in the darkness. But as Emily reached out to claim her prize, she felt a chill run down her spine. Something was wrong, terribly wrong. And then, with a sound like thunder, the ground beneath her feet began to shake, and the trees around her seemed to come alive with a malevolent energy. With a sinking feeling in her heart, Emily realized that she had fallen into the Easter witch's trap. And as the darkness closed in around her, she knew that she would join the ranks of the cursed children, condemned to wander the forest for all eternity. And so, as the sun dipped below the horizon and the shadows stretched long across the forest floor, the legend of the Easter witch lived on, a chilling reminder of the darkness that lurked just beyond the edges of the world.